she goes back down and start reading because she got to get in this woman's head because very crazy in her mind. So now that we back at the autobiography, Verity know that the attempted abortion has failed, and one of the babies is born with a scar, and that's going to be Chasten. And so she just, once the baby was born and Jeremy gave his affection to the girls, she just like hated being a mom. She hated being called mama. She was disgusted and decided to bottle feed because she didn't want her baby sucking on her titties because that's what Jeremy sucked. Like, this is her mindset as a mom. The girl is crazy. So at this point, Lauren is just upset. Like, what is wrong with this woman? This is the Autobot. Like, this is her. This woman is crazy. Okay? So she's like, I gotta find out who this woman really is. So she goes searching around the house and in the office, finds this box of pictures, and she realizes that Harper is never smiling in the photos. So she asks Jeremy, like, hey, why is Harper not smiling? And he goes to say she was diagnosed with Asperger's as a little girl, so she was a little autistic. So Lauren goes in to comfort him, like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't want to, overstep my bounds or anything like that. So she goes in to hug him, and then they had this little moment. And then she pulls back, and they had a little stare moment, and then when you come in a little closer, and they about to kiss. But Crew was like, nope. So he ran downstairs, and he interrupted the whole little moment. So she was like, oh, okay, well, let me go to bed, because things about to get a little steamy. So she was like, let me go to bed. So she went into bed. But later that night, she was tossing and turning, how you just, turn over in your sleep, and she hears some footsteps coming down the stairs. And she done been there long enough. She know they're not Crew's footsteps, but she know they're not Jeremy footsteps either. So she was like, strange. But she was half asleep. So, she just dozed back off, didn't think nothing of it. Okay. Next morning, she continues reading on her little autobiography, so be it. Now, at this time, Verity and Jeremy couldn't afford a nanny. And Verity was just so exhausted. Who wouldn't be with newborn twins? And so Jeremy had went back to work. And she figured out that while he's at work, she just gonna neglect the babies. They crying, hungry, whatever. She gonna go in her office and write, and she just gonna neglect them. And then before he come home, she gonna feed him, bathe them, and then put him to sleep and just make it like everything is just oh so dandy. This whole time, making it look like she just got it. And so she felt like, okay, now that I'm getting rest, and by the time he get home, they taken care of, they falling asleep. Now I can get my man back. Because, she had just had the baby, so they wasn't supposed to be having sex. But she got tired of waiting, of course. So she sucking on that man, teasing on that man. And, of course, who gonna resist it? Nobody. So he laid right there and got all that good loving. So, honey, she had them babies taken care of. And she had her man back. So she was okay. She was all right. And this is when we come back to Lauren. So Lauren falls asleep reading this, and she kind of wakes up a little bit off. She feeling a little bit off. So she like, I know I'm in their house, but I'm not in the room. So she like, she's just disoriented. Turns over, and she in the bed with Verity. So she panics, screams, like having this whole panic attack. Jeremy running out of the room like, what's going on? Like, first, like, why are you screaming? Why are you in the room? What's going on? So at this point, she explains the whole door lock, the whole situation, which is that she sleepwalks. This is why she requested the lock for the door. And whole time he was thinking, so don't nobody get in, but she sleepwalked, so she didn't want to get out. And this also explains the scar on her hand, and it also gives a little background of why her and her mom's relationship was strained. So when she was a teenager, she slept walk outside. She went outside, stood on the railing, balanced and everything for an hour. Just stood there. They went back and watched the footage. She stood there for an hour and then just jumped. Out of nowhere, just jumped off the railing, broke her wrist, lacerated her arm, and then went back to sleep. And the next morning, that's when she woke up in all that pain and, went to the hospital. And when they went back and watched the footage, that's what they found. So at that point, her mama was scared of her. That's where the lock came from. And hell, she was scared of herself because she had no recollection of this. She was sleepwalking. And so she explains this to Jeremy, her anxiety of sleeping and everything. And of course, he comforts her and so he ends up sleeping with her and just laying next to her, and then he just gives her a little forehead kiss of affection to help her feel better and sleep. Okay, so little by little, they getting a little closer and closer. So the next morning, she continues on with her reading, of course, and when we get back into the autobiography, at this point in time, Verity had a dream that Harper suffocated Chaston. And this was the first time she actually felt affection towards either of the girls, because she like, dang, Chaston, you was born with this scar, from me trying to abort y'all. And you have to live with this twin that wants to kill you. Like, you are a survivor. And so she develops this newfound motherhood passion for Chaston. But in her mind, she decides that this is premonition and that she got to take out Harper before Harper takes out Chaston. So she goes in them little baby's room, sticks her finger down that baby's Harper throat and tries to choke her to death. And just as the baby is going limp, Jeremy walks in like, hey, everything okay? I heard the baby crying, and just saves her just in the nick of time. So Lowen is like, yo, what the fuck? This woman is out of her mind. Again, I need a drink. And as she walks out, Jeremy made her favorite, margaritas and tacos. So she like, oh, I can forget about the story for a little bit and enjoy my margaritas and tacos and my possible new man. But she tried not to think like that for real, because, she know he a married man and he got obligations. So that was just my little insert. But anyway, so she goes back to continue reading. So at this point, Verity had become only concerned with Chaston, remember, because she think Harper is out to get Chaston. So over the years, she only shows affection towards Chaston. Like, oh, the teacher said Chaston is this. Oh, the teacher said Chaston is that. It's always about Chaston. And so Jeremy has been picking up on this, and then out a couple weeks go by, and finally he like, yo, we have 2 children. We have both Harper and Chaston. Why is everything about Chaston? Like, you are a mother to both. Like, what is wrong with you? So, of course, she has to come up with this lie. Like, oh, Chaston is, more like me. Harper is a daddy's girl. So, of course, I spend more time and I have more moments with Chaston. And then she also uses this moment to tell him that they think, Harper is on the autism scale. So that's whenever they first, realized the diagnosis of the Asperger's with Harper. And while he is, distracted now with Harper's condition and all of this. And so she uses his vulnerability now to go ahead and distract him more because he was mad. You know, he wasn't giving her none. He wasn't paying no attention. So now she like, now I'm going to just go ahead and hit him with the one thing I know that's going to make him love me again. And she tell him she pregnant. She ain't not nan bit pregnant. So now she makes sure she gets pregnant, which she does. But she knew that was going to make him love on her and adore her. And it does. He falls for it every time. So she get what she wants. So at this point, Lowen is just, first of all, she bored with all the sex that Jeremy and Verity's had. Because obviously now she done developed feelings for Jeremy. So now she just tired of reading about their love life. And she is sickened because Verity is this crazy lady who treated her kids all type of way. So she like, you know what? I need a break. Okay? I done been holed up in this room and in this office. I'm gonna go take me a break. I'm gonna go in this living room and I'm gonna go watch me a movie on this big old TV. So they go in there. Well, she go in there and she chilling. And of course, Jeremy creeps his little own butt down there. And they get to talking. And it comes in a conversation that it's her birthday the next day. So he like, oh, well, like, why you ain't say nothing? And she like, well, you know, I wasn't going to be doing anything, so it wasn't that big deal. So he's like, you know, that's unacceptable. And he goes in and he bakes her a cake. And so now they flirting and stuff all over the cake. And of course, you know, she got something on her lip. So he gonna remove it from her lip. And then he gonna kiss that little spot. Then he get to kissing on her neck, and then he get to kissing on them titties. And then they get to scripting, and then he lay her out on that couch. As soon as he lay her down on that couch, she lift up to give him a little more access. Verity standing right at the top of them stairs with her fist balled up right on her sides. So at this point, Lowen is like, get up, like, Verity was at the top of the stairs. So he like, Lowen, relax. Like, okay, maybe I push things too fast. Verity, she can't move. Like, she's pretty much a vegetable. I promise you, it's not Verity. You have to relax. I just moved too fast. That's on me. I'm sorry. So she like, yeah, okay, well, all right. So she goes to the room and she like, okay, well, just don't leave. Just don't leave. So, of course, he lay next to her until she falls asleep. And then, you know, they sleep the night away. Crazy, right? Mm-hmm. So, now she's even more determined. Like, I'm about to finish this book. Because that woman up there thinks she got me food. And she don't. She might have everybody else in this house food. But she ain't got me food. So, she goes and reads the autobiography. And at this point in time, the books have, you know, become popular. She done had crew, and the nanny is doing all the mothering, so she's good. And she's gone she's gone 4 weeks at a time. So of course, when she get back, Jeremy missing on her, loving all on her. You know, life is good. And just some random day, he receives a phone call that Chasten had her peanut allergy. She ate the peanut and didn't wake up. So at this point, grief takes over. And she's mad at Harper because she like, you had something to do with it. And Jeremy is now grieving, so now he's not giving her any affection. So Lowen is like, yo, this woman is crazy. Like, let me go talk to this man and see why he does this. So he takes her out to dinner and she talks with him like, you know, have you thought about moving on? Verity is basically a vegetable. You know, she could be into a facility that is better equipped to take care of her. You know, you're basically stuck. You can't do anything. You can't really go anywhere, and you have this marriage that you're giving and it can't be reciprocated. You know, what is it that you want? And what's the famous line? Honey, he wants you. And honey, you is what he got. So he took her home. He took her home. And he made love to her. And he just loved on her body so good that she made her own little bite marks on that headboard, because Verity wasn't about to be the only one experiencing that, honey. Okay? So she made her mark, literally, on the headboard next to Verity's. So, get back into the autobiography. As we get back into it, we're at the point where Verity is blaming Harper. So Harper, she's talking to Harper like, I know you had something to do with it. Do you even miss your sister? Like, what did you do? So Harper's like, of course I miss my sister. That was my twin sister. I didn't do anything. So she starts to cry. Jeremy walks in like, what's wrong with my baby? So Verity lied. Oh, she wanted to go to the lake and I told her no. So Jeremy's like, okay, well, actually, I think that's a good idea. You know, we've all been grief-stricken, and I think it's a good idea. You know, I'm going to go do some things, run some errands, and just you take her and crew to the lake and, you know, have a day with them, spend some time. So she like, oh, okay. So take them to the lake. She trying to figure out, of course, always how to get her man, get all his affection, get all his love, get all his time, get all his everything. So in her mind, she has put together the notion that he is grieving so much that he can't grieve anymore. So if she go ahead and get rid of Harper, she then becomes his priority. No other women have his prioritization, and he can get over his grief quicker, because then, you know, there's, for some reason, she thinks there'll be less to grieve, or he won't have any more room to grieve. So, as they're on that lake, in that boat, in their little canoe, she tells crew, hold your breath, and she flips the boat, knowing Harper cannot swim.